Ladies and gentlemen, take a moment, take a seat. There is a hot message here. They're saying the message is direct from the Lord, and you must hear it because it concerns you. Who is giving the message? Why now? What's the message? Time to get that message.
Thank you, Dobe TV. I'm honored to have called you here. Just reason because you've been the group that has been broadcasting the issues about this nation without any bias. Today we'll agree. I'll read this message as I have been given. And I want to repeat that, as I have been saying, is that I'm not a one-man show. So I'll say this is the message that has been given to the Mount Kenya prayer warriors that are based in Mount Kenya and who also their offices are in this place we call Madigira Mahiga Matatu in Chaka. And you allow me to read. For a long time, you have never seen me reading.
Please do.
So I'm reading because I've been instructed not to add or subtract.
I'm also eager to hear.
So this is the message from the Almighty Jehovah through Yeshua, that is Jesus Christ of Nazareth, about this nation of Kenya. First, Kenyans know that this country is the nation of revival and renaissance. And all people in leadership and the spiritual world knows this is Almighty God chosen nation for revival and for renaissance and kingdom establishment. And the current things that what has been going on in this nation, God has given a voice, and I'm going to give the voice directly as it has been given to the Mount Kenya prayer warriors and confirmed among several members of the Mount Kenya prayer warriors. This is what it says. It says that the courts in heaven have made a ruling and judgment against the Kenya Kwanza government. And it says that the cabinet and parliament, both Senate and National Assembly, have refused to reflect themselves on the mirror on how this nation should be guided and governed. Instead, they have delved into corruption and greed in the management of the affairs of this nation. It adds to say that in June, Parliament became a slaughterhouse for innocent children, some of them who are grandchildren of these leaders in those three places that I have mentioned. And they have gone to behave in such a way that nothing happened. They have gone ahead without shame to make rulings in disregard of the shame of the innocent blood of the young children that was shed in that same House of Parliament. And therefore the Almighty God says it has no longer any moral authority to govern and rule this country. He thus decrees that judgment is on the UDA and KK regime, the cabinet, the Senate and the National Assembly, and thus decrees they have no more moral authority to govern this nation. He goes on and adds to say that the impeachment of Gachagua, the deputy president, was a mere reflection on the impeachment of the Kenya Kwanza regime. And he adds on to say there is a lot of anger in this nation, and protests of the high magnitude will arise in this nation due to the anger and frustrations of the masses that might lead to this nation going to the brink of precipice. The Almighty God thus commands this government that is known for disobeying the messages of God that they should put the security agencies led by KDF on high alert to prevent any chaos and bloodshed. He also commands the judiciary and the law society to continue ensuring the country remains stable under the current constitution. The government is hereby warned against allowing the UN, Britain, and America from interfering with the inside affairs of this nation. He therefore goes and adds that he commands the elders of this nation from all the communities should coordinate the unity of this nation to ensure the stability of this nation. Dear Kenyans, he adds to say that this nation is the nest of the Almighty Jehovah, and it is his nation of revival and renaissance, and he will protect it against any form of destructions. And he says he'll ensure that there is stability if his commands are obeyed. And this is decreed and declared in the order of Melchizedek. The reader of this statement is Wambugu Nyamu, otherwise called Mukui Mondo, who is the bag carrier for the Duduya Gogoni and the articles of this nation's spirituality. Thank you.
One question, then we call it a day. They have disobeyed, as you have purported. What's the magnitude of the punishment, and when will it begin?
I think you have talked this so many times in our Kerala, in our Gikuyu programs. And you remember, and I remind you, that God had said there should be no elections in this country in 2022. I've never ashamed to say that. And the previous leader, Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, was given commands by God he should not hold elections, because this country, God has a purpose for it. The country disobeyed. And immediately it disobeyed, we gave a word from the Almighty God that said this country will be in judgment. And you remember, we quoted, God said that he's going to execute Ezekiel 14 from verse 12 to, from verse 11 to verse 20. So this country has been under judgment. You remember, I called you here, although we talked in our mother tongue, and we told you that God was not happy with the country allowing homosexuality, allowing GMO and homosexuality, and God was not happy with the government led by the president signing the documents on environment by the New World Order globalist proponents that was done when they went to the USA, and therefore the government declared judgment on this country. And I remember last time we told you, when a nation disobeys God, he punishes a nation. You remember I gave you the story that is in 2 Samuel chapter 24. When David disobeyed God, David was a close friend of God. He disobeyed God. He was told not to number the people in Judah and Jerusalem. He went ahead. Not only did he do a census, he also increased the numbers. And God punished that country until the leader did obey the commands of the Lord. This nation has continued to disobey all messages from God. And this is not an ordinary nation. This is the nest of God. So it is not something that has started. We've been giving these messages. We've been giving them in English. Others have also been giving them in English. It's not only the Mount Kenya Prayer Warriors. And I remind you, this is not my personal message. Mount Kenya Prayer Warriors is a team of intercessors and prayer pillars for this nation. And we cut across tribes and communities in this nation. Recently, you had an engineer. He gave you a similar message. So this is not about Agikoyo. It is not about a particular tribe. And that is about this nation. And that's why God is telling the elders of this nation, you arise and take order. And I remember sending a message to the leader of this country, President Ruto, and telling him, God commands you to call in order the elders of this nation. Both the cultural elders and the religious elders, so that they can sit down and discuss the way forward for this nation. And now, since they have obeyed, he has disobeyed, he has called on the elders to organize themselves. He has called on the Law Society. The Law Society, they are the protectors of the of the constitution in this country and the judiciary to make sure that it is stable. And one thing that I'll add myself, because it's a voice from him, is that if it goes to the worst, there should be a constitutional conference that is going to decide the way forward for this nation. And it is that at that point that the Almighty God will intervene and take over this nation as the other provinces have been.
Do you have an idea who will be punished first?
You know very well, when a nation sins, it has been, I have mentioned here, he has talked about the cabinet. Who is the leader of cabinet? It is the president. He has talked about Senate. Who is the leader of Senate? It is the speaker and the senators. Who is the leader of the National Assembly? It is the speaker and the MPs. And this message was to all of them, the leaders in this nation.
What kind of punishment?
He didn't say. This message I told you, I'm not going to add a single word.
Okay.
When I'm with you, we normally talk about this and we discuss. I told you today I am not adding a single comma or iota of a T other than what has been passed to the Mount Kenya prayer warriors, intercessors and pillars as the message from the Almighty Jehovah. Him, in my own language, I call him Murugu Munenyaga, through Yeshua. Yeshua is called Jesus Christ of Nazareth. That message is as it is. Don't tell me to add anything more. I will not add.
That's a message from Mukui Mondo Wambugu Nyamu, the carrier.
Not from Wambugu Nyamu. This is the message from the Almighty God through the Mount Kenya prayer warriors and delivered by Wambugu Nyamu.
As it is. So whatever you want to do with that message, it is entirely upon you.
Kambuni ya The Bravo Republic rungu rwa kambuni nene ya The East African Royal Band iria noyo nyene kambuni ya Thobe TV na kambuni ya Vipimo Afric nĩ manĩire kwendia mũgũnda wao wa Kajiado Royal Garden Phase 2 uria wi Kajiado Town. Mũgũnda ũyũ ũtinangĩtio plots ya 50 by 100 in a controlled development. Kajiado Royal Garden Phase 2 nĩ ritho na iniũrũ kuma Kajiado Town hakuhĩ na ofici nene cia kaunti ya Kajiado hũgũrũrũ-inĩ cia mũkawa wa gĩkĩro gĩa 5 star wa Ruat Rock Resort. Ploti ici cirĩ na basis cia first come first serve na title cia tayari. Aranĩria na madirector a kambuni ya The Bravo Republic, Simon Jogu kana Peter Garuya, marĩ Phoenix, Arizona, bũrũri-inĩ wa Amerika. Kugerera namba 316-371-9196 we with diaspora gũkũ bũrũri-inĩ wa Jamhuri. Aranĩria na sales manager Joseph Maina kugerera namba 0722-735-569. The Bravo Republic. Join the Republic of Ideal Deals. Riboti cia magania na cia mwanya iria Thobe tũkoretwo tũgĩkũrehera. Thobe cirĩ ũkiri-inĩ, Thobe cia mĩtangĩko, kĩrema nditi, ritho rĩa ũndũire ona kana mũro wa mũremi. Cia gũkorwo cikũhĩtũkaga nĩ gũkorwo ndũrĩ ũra subscribe. Tiga gũciguaga na andũ. Subscribe ũmũthĩ tũkũhe gĩtũmi kĩa why life is for the living. Ningĩ tũrũmĩrĩre nenda-inĩ cia Facebook na Twitter @Thobe TV. Tũgũikie mbere. Subscribe. Thobe TV. Ũyũ nĩ ũthamaki. Subscribe now.